Welcome to the top 20 video game music chosen by you. Specifically, Longbow, Prince, Kris, Rudi, xenmas, and Claudio. Welcome in the chat, Rudi and Claudio and Rudi and Prince and Kris and Rudi. And myself, Matt, Rudi Pooty. This is from Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3, the Rebel Strike title theme.
Attack on their flagship!
You know what I really like about this track, and is probably going to show up in a few other ones, is that this one is a nice mix of hope with the opposite of that. It feels almost like there's a bit of kind of oppression on it, which is sort of allowing the strength of the hope to kind of shine through. It feels like a little back and forth, a little, light and dark, that kind of thing, a yin and yang. It does sound a bit more like Pokemon or Star Fox than Star Wars. It's a little more kind of glitzy and glammy. It sounds more like a Star Wars, like a medal ceremony. There are definitely some Star Wars moments in there, some things that John Williams would do, but it's definitely done in more of like the John Williams Las Vegas Tribute Award Show, featuring Kenny Baker's cousin. Our number 2 choice of today is from Prince from Armikrog. This is the officially rejected, unofficial Armikrog theme. Wow. That has a lot of hallmarks of... Oopsie. That's the Soma end credits theme. Back to this now. This has a lot of hallmarks of a Prince song. Number 1, it's from a game I've never heard of. Number 2, it's funny and whimsical. Number 3, it has lyrics. Number 4, it's sung by someone that doesn't sound like they do a lot of singing. Number 5. It's surprisingly low quality. Number 6, it looks like it used to be a PC DVD game only. And it's got a general positive vibe to it. And that's a Prince song, baby. Another thing with Prince songs is they start off obnoxious, but they end up in your brain. They're very catchy. This next one is from Kris, The Tomorrow Children, Dawn of Revolution. Very nice. This is really cool. Obviously, it's got like a kind of a Soviet vibe, and it definitely has that feeling of like proudly marching through the snow in a rank and file with thousands of Troika soldiers wearing a big furry hat, marching through the mud. It definitely has that like, our country's #1. But it actually is not. But we believe it is with a song as good as this. The song is just so well done. It feels like, you know, it's hitting the notes that immediately make you think of this sort of like Russian Soviet army Cold War Iron Curtain thing. But it doesn't sound sort of like stupidly generic. There's enough there, and interesting sort of like conflicting chord tones he's doing underneath of the main melody line that give it more drama and emotional connection. And it's also really nice and kind of dancing. It's almost like regal sounding. Almost sounds like a waltz, but it's not. It's just like some really delicate orchestral underpinning stuff that is really nice. A great track. The next one is chosen by Rudi from Sen no Kiseki, To the Future. Man, that's quite beautiful. I'm sure you know that sometimes when I hear these, it's not like other Trails games. When I hear anime music, we hear a lot of it, so oftentimes it can be pretty generic. But again, this one finds a way to, at least with me, I feel something with it, emotionally connect. Really beautiful stuff going on in here. It's a fun combination of those like real kind of tom-heavy drums, which give it kind of like a very large feel, but they're sort of like light toms, which give it a more positive epicness. Ooh, I mean, and that little chord change right there. I believe that it's throwing in a major chord or major notes where you're expecting there to be minor. Welcome, Jeremy. And I'm such a sucker for that stuff. That like minor to major is such a huge, emotional, and very positive and very hopeful musical moment. And also, like the Star Wars one we were talking about earlier, it's sort of like the presence of things that seem to shit all over hope, like oppression, serve to strengthen the message of hope in the other parts of the music. Oh, our next selection from Longbow, from Final Fantasy XII, this is the main theme. No, come back. There's something about that Final Fantasy main theme that definitely sounds like all the goodness in the world is descending, decked out in decadence and light and purity. The warriors of light are here to destroy the Bahamutes and whatever god you need destroyed. It's just such a great, like, ending theme, or it's like everything's taken care of. The bells are ringing in the church square. The town is saved. Thanks to Pinolo and Baj. Next up from Xenmas, Merry Xenmas. This is Xenoblade Chronicles, Mechonis Field. Agro. Oof. I really like this song. Now, Rudi is saying they are not feeling hope from this track, more melancholy. I think this definitely feels like you are... well, this part of the track is a lot different from earlier on. So if this is supposed to... Holy crap, we got 4 minutes into this track before I started turning it down to talk about it. It definitely... So if this is supposed to represent a gigantic mech that is the size of a planet that you're getting into, I can feel the kind of spaciness and the largeness of it, and how it almost sounds kind of like light and playful, as if this mech is bigger than a planet. What could it possibly have to worry about? I really, really like this vibe. It feels so sci-fi, so tranquil, so shimmery. To me, it sounds like a little bit apprehensive. It's like, we think this is going to work. We think if we get into a mech that is the size of a planet, we're going to be okay. But maybe we'll run out of gas. And we'll have a planet-sized mech floating out there, smashing into planets. I just love it. I love the emotion from it. That's been my word of the day with these tracks. Emotional connection. But that's what it's all about, right? Oh man, I love that really kind of whistling synth. Oh, then it goes into this like super heavy, swanky funk. Oh, our next track, chosen by Claudio from Hyrule Warriors. This is Overlooking Hyrule. Yeah, this definitely does feel like after a gigantic battle, after what you've been doing in the Warriors game and just murdering dozens and dozens of people, hundreds of people, thousands are dead, like you are surveying a great land. It feels like it's a slow pan, and you can see, like far as you can see, Simba, those are all the dead people in our land. There's a weight to it. Like something large has happened. And now it's going to be okay, but you still need to deal with the consequences that have led up to it. The consequences that will arise from it. Yeah, consequences come after. Well, that last track was quite nice, but we can't have nice things, can we? This is from Balan Wonderworld, chosen by Prince. The track is Hurray! 2 exclamation marks. Fucking wind chimes.
Hurray! It's time to step into a new world. Outside my door lies everything I've wanted and so much more. On my own, I will find a way. Oh, and I know that it won't always be easy, but I'll never know if I don't take this one chance.
That is a pretty good song. I mean, just like with Kingdom Hearts, this is another terrible game from Square Enix, made by a creator that should not be given money to create things. But that doesn't mean the music is going to be bad, because the music has nothing to do with the game. They just have a talented person make music. And you get something like this, it's pretty good. I mean, this is, to me, like a really great, sort of like a Disney, Pixar, very hopeful, very bright. Could be like a great theme for a kid's movie. But kind of show-tuney, very dramatic. I like this weird percussion they're using, which is sort of like, at first I thought it was a horse clop, but it sounds maybe like a lot of horse clops, or like a lot of people marching. And maybe that's to do with all the different masks that you wear and the people that you become. I don't know, strange, but it works really well. Next up from Kris, from Divinity Original Sin 1, this is Drowning Hope. Sounds like the track is really going to build from there, but we don't have time to listen to the entire 4 minutes. This is 2 minutes in. Yeah, I like that description, Chris, of waves on the shore lapping over you. It definitely has a lot of depth to it. I love that stringed instrument that they've chosen to use, sort of like a medieval nylon stringed guitar. It definitely has a watery, pure feel to it. And it just keeps cycling through these this one chord progression over and over again, which gives it sort of like a meditative, kind of a droning feel, like a power is slowly rising. Again, it's like a hopefulness kind of rising through a heaviness. Next up from Rudi from Ace Combat 7, this is Daredevil. Rudi recommended that you listen to the whole 5 minutes, which we did when before the stream started. We'll listen to just the first couple minutes here. Man, that's really powerful. I love the layers and the percussion, and just that building chord progression that they're using there. Sometimes I hear the stuff that's more orchestral. I think chord percussion is not really the right word, but I don't really know how else to describe it. And apparently they're saying that Rudi's saying they delayed the game just for the song. Sounds unlikely, but Chris believes you. how's Ace Combat stuck around for so long? I guess just because there's nothing else really to compete with it, which is surprising. You'd think, like, flying games would be... They work so well for a video game because you're at the controls. So it feels like you'd be... You know, when you're playing a game where you're running around and moving, you're just sitting. So to be sitting, even like on a couch, I feel like this couch could be a cockpit. You'd think once we hit VR, there's going to be more flying games, more cockpit games. Mechs, Gundams, cars. Sitting on top of a T-Rex and jamming controls into his brain. That kind of stuff. Our next track from Longbow, from Freedom Planet. This is Fortune Knight 1. Castanets, the wind chimes of the south. There's the fucking wind chime! Interesting. I've never heard of this, although I'm starting to think maybe we've seen this before on the channel. It obviously looks like a Sonic clone with the visuals and even the music as well, but it's got a terrible name. Freedom Planet sounds like a, I don't know, like a planetary management sim, or I don't know, like a mobile clicking game or something. I don't know what the hell. It's a Sonic fan game. Oh, really? It looks great. It looks really good. So does it use some of the, or a Vita JRPG? Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like a weird JRPG you haven't heard of that you're going to have to get to know a whole bunch of lore, and it's going to be kind of anime-ish, but not really. I commented on finding her more attractive than the fursuits. Last week for the moon thing. Yeah, she's a cutie. I mean, this looks like one of the best Sonic games I've ever seen. Very level design. And I like the way that you can just boost out of nowhere and fly across. Good music. Nice incorporation of different instruments from all around the world. Just like weird, distorted fuzz underneath. Well, it can't all be sunshines and rainbows and Sonic fan game with cute, cartoony mascots. Sometimes you need to get serious. This is xenmas' pick from Suikoden 2, Heart Softening theme.
Thank you.
it's funny. It's like it so blatantly takes the melody from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but then they do this incredible flourish at the end. Just throw in a million notes as almost to, well, if we just make this phrase have like 3 times as many notes at the end, and that'll dilute how much of the melody is from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I don't think anybody owns Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, so you're probably okay incorporating that. It's like that Ariana Grande song where she interpolates the which one is it? Few of my favorite things, like whiskers on kittens and butt plugs on minions. Ba 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 ba. Anyways, a nice little track, very very sleepy sounding track since it starts off sounding like a lullaby. But I guess it would work well if you just finished a long journey in a JRPG and got to some kind of to me it feels more like a castle theme, that Renaissance feel, or maybe the town festival or something. Another JRPG. This is from Lunar, Silver Star, Claudio's pick. Have a Big Dream. Definitely a super hopeful theme. The horns are so bright and cheerful, really optimistic. The tinkling of the bells are sort of like the xylophone behind it, give it even more optimism, and it's got a kind of a childish, very sunny, very innocent sound to it. And it's got these sort of quirky, sort of rhythm pushes. And that first chord change is it's very cheeky. To me, this sounds like somebody doing a parody of the opening to a sitcom from the 70s, 80s, 90s, something super family-based, but it's actually a really ironic guy who falls in some sewage and is rolling around and what are you gonna do? I'm covered in dog feces. Are you ready for another Prince track? This is from the game Strange Flesh, and the track is Picking Up the Pieces. I really like those synths. They're very hopeful feeling. It's like, I don't know, when you hear those kind of synths, the way they just sort of like pulsate, and it feels like they're sort of surrounding you. To me, it's like a very overwhelming feeling. I love those kind of sounds. And when you have them just kind of oscillating between these two chords, the straight beat under it, it's very unrelenting feeling, like picking up momentum. You get these very hopeful, simple melodies at the top. And there's something about the synths that, to me, make it seem like it's like a more important and intense feeling to it. Bright without being airy. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like a coming of age sort of sound. Coming. Well, on a different note, this is from Valkyria Chronicles. The track is Hope for Tomorrow, and this was chosen by Kris. Star Trek. Really a powerful theme. Definitely feels like it's got a big importance to it. There's a lot of reverie to it, and like really gentle steps. A lot of percussion, a lot of things just like building and swelling. There's an importance because of the time it takes to go from sort of one note to the next. There's a lot of build up all around it, a lot of like shimmering sort of violins, and the orchestra underneath just like kind of bristling and ready to awaken, ready to set something into motion. Almost like the spring has emerged from a long cold winter of war. The snow is going to be melted away, the dead bodies decomposed, and the little flowers will grow out of the dead bodies on the battlefield. All right, Live Alive is finally going to get a North American release, a translation. So here is a track from the original game. The track is also called Live Alive, chosen by Rudi. Yeah, that one's pretty fun. I love the SNES sounds. It's got, like a lot of JRPGs from that time, it's got some like military drums that give it some nice momentum, and I guess probably suit the feeling of like exploring a big world and fighting along the way. I guess because it is the main theme of it, it goes in a lot of different directions, a lot of ups and downs. Definitely has that hope. Like most of the tracks, the hope pushing through a lot of heavier themes all around it. I like all the different layering they have in the notes. The way they kind of let a lot of them, they layer them by having like a note start and then another one and another one. Bum, bum, bum. Kind of like the way the Three Stooges go hello, 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 hello. Finally, the Three Stooges of JRPGs only released in Japan. They'll be out here. Yeah. From Longbow, from Muramasa, the Demon Blade, this is Dim Twilight A. Hey! Chun-Li, is that you? Man, this track to me sounds like you're taking a lot of inspiration from, say, the Sega Genesis and what the FM synth sounds are doing with that hard bass and those sort of like 90s dance drums. But then you're using the modern benefit of having actual really nice samples, so you can have a softer orchestral feel with flutes and strings. But it still has that dancey synth propelling it. Yeah, it's really great. Sounds like what a Sega Genesis track would sound like to a kid. You know, what their imagination is filling in all around the limitations. Really nice. From xenmas, from Shin Megami Tensei 4, this is Tokyo. That's a nice track. It's got a cool kind of... It's like a groovy, slowed down, like slightly kind of swung beat to it. The way they put the kick and the snare a little bit after the fact. And it's got great bass. And one thing about bass is that it's not just when you are playing the bass, it's when you stop the note. And the absence of bass can actually add a lot of power. And you hear that in the beginning of this. I have to do something. That absence in the bass right before the end of another phrase really lets the start of the second phrase just like hit so hard. Stop. Oh, and he threw in a nice little run at the end. They did. Could be anybody. Man, every time I hear the Shin Megami Tensei music, I think, maybe I should be playing Shin Megami Tensei. And I look it up. And when I'm seeing this gameplay, the visuals are quite nice. I'm not usually an anime guy, but I find that Shin Megami Tensei and Persona always elevate themselves beyond generic JRPG anime styles. And I hear that this is the one to start with. If you're going to try a Shin Megami Tensei game, you should go with 4. It's the easiest one, I guess, the most accessible. Looks nice to me. But then I'm always worried that Shin Megami Tensei is not going to have any of the personality and the character stuff of the Persona games that I love. But the music, I can make up for it. And maybe this girl too. Our penultimate track from Kris, from the Dyson Sphere program. This is called March on the Universe. A track I found quite cheesy, but also I couldn't stop smiling when I heard it, so I think it's a good choice. Welcome to SpaceX. I hope you enjoy looking and dedicating your soul. Like this track, it's so cheesy, but it just cannot be denied. It's so pure in what it's trying to do. I mean, even its title, March on the Universe, that's a really cheesy, kind of stupid idea, but you can't deny it. We're marching on the universe. We're gonna go walk on the sun! Our final track of the day chosen by Claudio. This is an epilogue from Final Fantasy IV. that great moment in a lot of Final Fantasy games when you're about 2/3 of the way through, you've had a big setback, but then, boom, you get an airship. And there's so many elements in this song that just make it feel like the clouds are racing by you. You're on something strong. The team is together. You're on your way to blow up whatever god or king supervillain has done you wrong. I think it's the maybe it's the bass with those arpeggiating things, like the bass and the simple but straight ahead drums give that constant momentum, and the arpeggios. To me, those sound like sort of the clouds whizzing by. Gives it that airy feel, that spacey feel. But then there are these like different kind of like chords and melodies that almost sound melancholy, but they just shape in there nicely to, once again, like show that hopefulness through the oppression. Real nice. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks. You can join in the fun by joining our Discord and picking tracks for yourself. If you're watching on Twitch, well, we're going to keep chatting. Thanks to everybody that selected the songs and chatted about them. Really appreciate it.